everybody, so new review for you guys here to the upcoming reboot of Wrong Turn. If you're a fan of the horror genre, you've probably at least watched the original Wrong Turn and some of the many sequels we've gotten throughout the years. There's quite a bit of them. Like with many ongoing horror franchises, we get a lot of sequels and a lot of them aren't very good in quality. Some of my interest was reinvigorated for the franchise more recently due to Dead Meat actually covering the films and all of his kill counts. I love Dead Meat. I think he has a really great channel. But yeah, we finally have gone the reboot route. We are now on the 7th Wrong Turn film, and they have decided to reboot the franchise with this installment. And this reboot centers around a group of friends hiking the Appalachian Trail that are confronted by the Foundation, a community of people who have lived in the mountains for hundreds of years. One thing I found interesting going into this reboot is the writer of the original Wrong Turn, Alan McElroy, actually returned to write the screenplay for this reboot. And while not everything works, I have to give him credit for at least attempting to do something quite different with this reboot of Wrong Turn, because you definitely can tell he's going for something completely different stylistically. Going for a much more serious and grounded in approach, which almost is to the film's detriment. The core idea is still the same. It is still a group of kids going out into the woods and they are confronted, but gone are the murderous mountain men that are cannibals like Three Finger, Sawtooth, and One Eye. Instead, we get the Foundation, who are basically just regular people in the woods. It just isn't a very interesting antagonist as opposed to the cannibalistic murderous mountain men that we've seen in all of the other Wrong Turn films. It's just regular cult-like, tribe-like people, and they wear bone masks made out of animals and also ghillie suits when they do hunting and they do the traps and all that stuff. It's very underwhelming. Obviously, I was expecting maybe at least some revamp because it is a reboot, but when you make a murderous, cannibalistic mountain man kind of like your staple of the Wrong Turn franchise, and then you swap him out for just regular old humans and a cult, it just is kind of lackluster and underwhelming, and we've seen that done so many times and times before in the past in other movies where it's just a cult. That's not to say that those stories can't be done well or successfully, because they obviously have in the past, but the story in this is very uninteresting. It kind of gets bogged down because there's so much exposition that's really unneeded, but also the main storyline that's divvied up into two parts, where the group of kids are out in the woods and they get captured and have to take on the different people in the Foundation, while also following Matthew Modine's character as he searches for his daughter and talks to different people throughout the storyline. Both of those going on together, they never really flow or gel whatsoever, and the runtime as well is very bloated. It's an hour and 50 minutes, which is quite high for a horror film of this kind of caliber. Because to put it into perspective, all of the Wrong Turn films up to this point, so Wrong Turn 1 through 6, all of them are roughly about an hour and a half long, give or take a little bit more or a little bit less. And this film is an hour and 50 minutes. I think an hour and a half probably could have made this film a little bit more salvageable. We didn't need a lot of the overly long exposition points when we talk about the Foundation to try and flesh them out, because they're not very interesting as characters whatsoever in the stuff with the cult. But I really think that we could have actually had some editing and it would have been a much more coherent, better flowing film because of that. There are still a fair amount of brutal, gory kills that have become kind of accustomed to the Wrong Turn franchise. None of them are really all that creative, but at least you do still get that gore factor with a few of them. Some of them are kind of cut away too, which is kind of disappointing. I figured if we're going to go all out with the Wrong Turn reboot, but I guess they are kind of going for a more serious vibe. I actually did like some of the main cast between Matthew Modine, Charlotte Vega, and Bill Sage. I think they did really good with the material they were given. Everyone else kind of for the most part were just stereotypical, unlikable characters that were kind of just meant to be there so they can get killed off later in the movie or something along those lines. As a whole, I respect this attempt at kind of reinventing the Wrong Turn franchise, giving us this darker, grounded storyline, but as a whole, I just found it to be lacking a lot of the areas that would actually make a fun Wrong Turn entry. It's a shame because I think if you had just called this something else completely, it would have just been a very stereotypical average horror film, but because it has that Wrong Turn name attached to it, now it's going to be associated with the Wrong Turn franchise, and that's kind of disappointing in that sense. Outside of the US, this film is being marketed as Wrong Turn: The Foundation, so it has that subtitle, The Foundation. You could have easily just called this The Foundation, and I think it would have just been a completely different horror film with completely different mindset and expectations. If you're a fan of the Wrong Turn franchise, I'd love to know your thoughts about this film if you're able to check it out. I do know that they're doing a one-night theatrical run when it comes to the Fathom events. It's going to be actually shown theatrically in a theater January 26th. If you're in an area that actually has theaters open, if you do have a theater that's open, be safe, wear masks, and all that jazz. If not, I believe it'll probably be on digital or Blu-ray not too long afterwards. But I would love to know your thoughts about the film when you check it out, whether you liked it, you not liked it. I'd love to discuss it in the comment section down below with you guys. I love to all things movies and TV on the channel. Thank you as always for checking my reviews though. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you like, hit that subscribe button. We'll keep that movie reviews, show reactions, unboxings, and more. Till next time, I'll see you guys later.